You walk into a packed train station, bodies everywhere, noise everywhere, and somehow you relax. Now imagine the opposite. An empty parking garage at night. No one around, just you and the sound of your own footsteps. Your heart rate climbs. Your eyes start scanning the shadows. Nothing about either situation has actually changed your odds of danger. If anything, statistically, crowds carry more risk. More people means more chances for something to go wrong. But your brain doesn't see it that way. Your brain sees the empty garage as the threat and the crowd as the shelter. This feeling is so automatic that you've probably never questioned it. But the real answer is far stranger than crowds are safer. Your sense of safety in numbers isn't really about safety at all. It's a leftover instinct from a world that no longer exists. And understanding it changes the way you see almost every social space you walk into. Start with the basics. For most of human history, being alone meant being vulnerable. Not occasionally vulnerable. Constantly. A lone human on the African savanna 2 million years ago was slow, weak-clawed, and easy to kill. No fangs, no armor, no speed. Just soft skin and a big brain. But in a group, everything changed. A group could spot predators faster. A group could fight them off. A group could share food, share warmth, share the burden of staying alive through a long night. Survival wasn't really about individual strength. It was about proximity to others. This is where anthropologist Robin Dunbar's research becomes important. Dunbar studied primate brain size across dozens of species and found something surprising. Brain size didn't track with diet or environment or hunting strategy. It tracked with group size. The bigger the social group an animal lived in, the bigger its brain tended to be. Why would tracking other individuals require more brain power than tracking predators or finding food? Because social life is complicated. You have to remember who helped you, who betrayed you, who's allied with whom, who might share their food, and who might steal yours. Dunbar's work suggests that human intelligence itself may have evolved largely as a tool for living in groups. Not for solving puzzles, not for building tools, for navigating people. So when you feel a wave of relief stepping into a crowded room, you're not making a modern judgment about crime statistics. You're running an ancient piece of software. A piece of software that says, more people nearby equals more eyes watching for danger, more hands ready to help, more chance that if something goes wrong, you won't be the only target. Here's where it gets stranger. This same instinct can completely backfire. Picture someone collapsing on a busy sidewalk. Dozens of people walk past. Nobody stops. Now picture that same person collapsing on an empty street with just one other person nearby. That person is far more likely to help. This isn't because crowds are filled with cold, uncaring people. It's because of something psychologists Darley and Bibb Latané identified after the infamous 1964 case of Kitty Genovese, a woman attacked in New York while, according to reports at the time, many neighbors did nothing. Darley and Latané ran experiments and found a pattern they called diffusion of responsibility. When you're the only person who can help, the responsibility lands entirely on you. But when you're one of 50 people, your brain quietly does the math. Surely someone else will step in. Surely it's not on me. The result? The more witnesses present, the less likely any single person is to act. So the same crowd that makes you feel protected can also make you personally invisible. The group that shields you can also be the group that lets you slip through the cracks. Why would evolution build something so contradictory? Because evolution wasn't designing a perfectly logical system. It was patching together instincts that worked well enough, often enough, in small groups of 50 to 150 people. That number isn't random either. It's roughly what Dunbar calculated as the cognitive limit for stable social relationships, now often called Dunbar's number. In a group of 150, everyone knows everyone. Reputation matters. If you ignore someone in trouble, the whole group knows it was you. There's no anonymity to hide behind. But a modern crowd of thousands of strangers? That ancient social contract breaks down. The instinct to feel safe in numbers still fires. But the instinct that should make you feel responsible to those numbers gets diluted into nothing. This is why you can feel comforted by a packed subway car, yet also feel strangely alone within it, surrounded by people but anonymous to all of them. Your nervous system registers the safety. Your sense of social accountability quietly, and it might be the strangest one. Primatologist Sarah Blaffer Hrdy has spent decades studying how humans raise children compared to other primates. Her research points to something most people never consider. Human infants are uniquely dependent, for an unusually long time, on care from people other than their mother. Hrdy calls this cooperative breeding. In most primate species, mothers are fiercely protective and rarely let others near their babies. But human mothers, throughout evolutionary history, regularly allowed grandmothers, aunts, older siblings, and even unrelated group members to hold, feed, and watch their infants. This wasn't a luxury, it was survival. A human child takes far too long to become self-sufficient for one parent to manage alone. The presence of a wider group wasn't just about defense from predators. It was about defense from exhaustion, from scarcity, from the sheer impossibility of raising a slow-developing human child in isolation. So your comfort around groups of people isn't only more eyes against danger. It's also something deeper, an ancient sense that other people are potential caregivers, potential help, potential hands that might one day hold what you can't carry alone. This is why isolation feels so heavy, even when nothing dangerous is happening. Loneliness doesn't just feel emotionally unpleasant. Researchers have found it activates some of the same neural pathways as physical pain. Your body, on some level, treats disconnection as an injury. Now think about how strange your daily life actually is, compared to almost all of human history. You might spend hours alone in an apartment, surrounded by walls instead of people. You might work at a screen, physically near no one, while still being connected to thousands online. You might walk through a crowded city and not speak to a single person all day. Your ancestors never experienced this combination. Either they were alone and in genuine danger, with every sense on high alert, or they were surrounded by a small group of people they knew intimately, where safety and connection were the same thing. Modern life splits these apart. You can be surrounded by strangers and still feel the ache of disconnection. You can be physically alone and still feel emotionally tethered to people through a phone. Your ancient instincts weren't built for this split. They're still trying to read situations using rules from a world where near other people and known and cared for by other people were almost always the same thing. So the next time you feel that wash of relief walking into a crowded cafe after being alone outside, notice it. That feeling is older than language, older than agriculture, older than almost everything you'd call civilization. It's the echo of a small group around a fire, on a dark plain, where being near others wasn't a preference. It was the difference between living through the night and not. You walk into a packed train station, bodies everywhere, noise everywhere, and for a moment, without knowing why, you finally feel like you're home.